To take a look at the growing Republican field for president and debate if anyone can win the nomination that's not named Trump. Here's Stephanie.
This is a big week legally for Trump, obviously. Well, let's start with, I just wanted to get you tweeted, this is back, last week in December, you said media getting it wrong on Supreme Court refusing to hear Trump's immunity argument now. This does not mean SCOTUS is co-signing a delay of the case. It signals the court plans to deny any hearing of Trump's claim at all. He will lose at D.C. Circuit. SCOTUS will not intervene. I heard Mary McCord echo your thoughts on that.
Yeah, look, I think that there's a chance that they're going to hear the case to basically crush this argument dead. It looks like that's what they're going to do now, that I think they feel like that if they just say nothing and don't grant cert, that's going to possibly send the wrong message, lead to ambiguity. But I do feel very confident that we're going to see them come down on the side of saying that no, engaging in alleged criminal activity is not within the scope of the office of the president.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was fascinated with your whole thread. You said, by the way, Jack Smith moved for SCOTUS to intervene sooner in large part to underscore the urgency of deciding the immunity issue quickly, nudging the D.C. Circuit to move faster. The D.C. Circuit oral court is now set for January 9th. That's tomorrow. Jack Smith achieved his objective. And you just said Trump is losing all these legal cases so badly, he's now trying to claim victory when the Supreme Court is refusing to intervene to support his bogus claims of royal immunity. SCOTUS is not going to save him from losing bigly. That's the headline here. Trump didn't win anything today. So, I mean, we shall see. But, tomorrow is pretty quick, isn't it, for the circuit court?
Oh, yeah, that's very, very quick for them. I mean, typically any kind of appeal is usually it's a year, to be clear. That's how long it takes for most things to go through an appellate process. It's usually about a year. So this whole thing has been done in about a month, less.
So, Tristan, can you clarify for us lay people what's at issue with the Supreme Court? Because they're also ballot case, right? So,
yes,
just take us through this week legally.
Yeah, I mean, really a lot of what's happened here is that if you're a judge or a law clerk for a judge in Washington, D.C. right now, Donald Trump probably ruined your Christmas. That's pretty much what happened. Now, Trump's lawyers also had their holidays ruined. I mean, everybody's been working behind the scenes on all the briefing and getting ready for oral arguments for all of these different matters. But yes, we have two mammoth Supreme Court things coming up here. One is going to be the question of whether or not Trump is actually immune from prosecution for the January 6th federal case in D.C. He's claiming some combination of it was all while I was president, thereby I'm immune, and B, I'm an ex-president, so that also gives me he's been kind of trying to make that argument, but it's also clear that that's not going to fly. I was president while I did it is really the main event there. And then the second case is regarding the Colorado Supreme Court disqualification of Trump on the 14th Amendment, Section 3. It is not 100% clear yet if we're going to get a full-blown briefing and oral argument on that from SCOTUS, but I think we probably will. In the meantime, a bunch of other states are rushing in there and making their own decisions regarding that matter. But I think that we're going to see at least some action from SCOTUS on that 14th Amendment question.
So, Tristan, on the other front, speaking of states, you said breaking new smoking gun evidence that Trump's inner circle directly controlled the Michigan fake elector filings. Emails by Chesborough, Epstein, Eastman uncovered by Detroit News. They're now part of the Michigan AG investigation. TikTok. You said, will Trump be indicted a fifth time next in Michigan? So you said obviously you said Chesborough is the likely source of the emails and is cooperating. Will he implicate Trump? If so, indictment number 5 is coming. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I get ready. And I feel like that kind of flew under the radar at the end of last week. I feel like the mainstream media did not really pick up on that at all. did not really think about the implications of what all this is, also what the implications are about it for the Georgia case. Chesebro's cooperation basically completely locks down that the fake elector scheme was very much managed and led by the White House. And I think the $1 million question there is going to be, did Donald Trump sign off on it? Did he actually direct it? If we're going to use a movie reference, did he order the code red? If he ordered
I use
the
it all
code
the
red,
time.
then he's done on that one alone. He's done on that. If he ordered the fake elector scheme, that alone is multiple different felonies. And it has implications for the federal J6 case as well. But I do believe that now Michigan is very much on the trail of saying, okay, the fake elector scheme is going to generate a bunch of indictments, and I think that Donald Trump is probably going to be one of them.
By the way, on J6, you said there's only one interpretation. January 6th was a coup and a criminal act of terrorism. You said even if the January 6th attack had never happened, what Trump did in late 2020, early 21 constituted a criminal conspiracy and an insurrection within the meaning of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. He tried to overturn the election to entrench himself in office forever. I think it is extraordinary that ordinary citizens, Tristan, even Republicans in some states, are, I think, so frustrated that we're where we are. They're trying to stop this by any means necessary. Putting this madman back in office. It is sort of an extraordinary situation we find ourselves. I think people are like, well, right. The Justice Department didn't get him, and Mueller couldn't get him, and Garland can't get him in time, and Congress didn't do anything. Who's going to stop this? Right? And I think that the 14th Amendment is pretty clear.
Here's the thing, is that it doesn't really matter what we think about whether or not he should be gotten in one way or another. It really doesn't matter whether we would prefer that we, the people, vote him out rather than him be led out of the public arena by some legal process. The Constitution says what it says, and it's not optional. And you can't. It's not a buffet. It's not a la carte. You don't get to pick which parts of the Constitution you want to enforce and which ones you don't. The Constitution's extremely clear on this point. And let's be clear. There have already been many, many, many tribunals, including Congress itself, that deemed January 6th to be an insurrection. So the notion that Jan 6 was somehow not an insurrection is just ridiculous. I think that
we keep talking about, all his lies finally meeting the light of the courtroom. And, as Aaron Rupar tweeted, Trump lied about the destroyed evidence. He lied about not having the Secret Service information. He lied about Pelosi refusing his offer of 10,000 troops. And he lied about evidence of this offer being in deleted materials. I am somewhat confident that justice is going to come. Maybe albeit not as soon as we would like. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I really do. I'm cautiously optimistic that we are on a path now. We are getting toward the end game that is going to result in Donald Trump actually facing criminal accountability for his actions here. I think the question is really about the timing and about how that's going to interplay with the 2024 election. In my mind, that's always been the question. As I could see this coming a year ago, I think a lot of people could. You're going to have all these trials happen, but you're also going to have the election happen. He's probably going to be the Republican nominee. How is all that going to interplay? When are we going to get convictions? When is he going to get sentenced? How do appeals play into all of this? The timetable with all these courts, that's really going to be a big factor here. At what point is he actually going to prison?
And by the way,
he's got to get convicted first, but.
Yeah, besides being a great legal analyst, you also make a great points, Tristan, about the media. You said Donald Trump actually did the corruption that Joe Biden is falsely accused of. That's the story. And you said one major party frontrunner was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein, has been indicted on 91 felony counts, stole military secrets, lost a highly classified intelligence binder, took $7.8 million of foreign cash while in the White House, and the other one is Joe Biden. If the media is going to continue this both sides BS, it's going to be up to us, isn't it?
It is. And I think that, one thing that's important, you mentioned Republicans getting fed up too. We have to remember that all of the plaintiffs in the Colorado case were actually Republicans. That's who actually stepped up and said, you know what? And thank you to them. Enough is enough, that we've got to do something about this. I think that it's going to take all of us to get this done.
Can I thank you for one last thing? You are one of the only people staying on this. You said on Twitter 3 years later, who planted the pipe bombs? Who disabled Pence's key card? Who removed the panic buttons? Who shared the location of the non-reinforced windows? Thank you.
We still don't know. It's amazing that we still don't know these things. I think that there's a lot of things that happened that also were, let's just be real blunt here. I really do believe January 6th was an inside job. I think that there was plenty of help coming from various people on Capitol Hill, in various Republican chambers of members. And I do believe that we're going to see accountability and justice there. But I think that they've designed this to have Trump be the one that has that federal indictment first from Jack Smith. I do believe we're going to see indictments of members of Congress and their staff members.